look at these beautiful faces. If you guys ever consider yourself beautiful, you should. You should, because beauty comes from the inside. So my name is Brenda Ringwood, and you guys can call me Mrs. Wood. All right, now listen up, guys. I go by Mrs. Wood because it's a respect thing. And your name is important. So you guys can call me Mrs. Wood. And we're going to talk about respect. And I'm going to bring out Mr. Cicone Prince in and you call him Mr. Prince. Because it's a respect thing. And respect starts with you. Did you know that? You guys are our future. You are our future. You guys are going to be taking care of me when I'm old. Did you know that? You are. Some of you guys are going to go on to become doctors, CEOs of companies, great jobs with positions that pay well. You're also going to go on to become parents, teachers, leaders. You also, some of you might go on to be pretty prison. Drug addicts. But it doesn't have to be like that. It's all choices. Did you know that? It's choices, and it starts today. You have a choice to become who you want to be. And that's what becoming the best you is about. It's about helping you to become the best version of yourself. So that your choices that you make right now will create the future that you want later. You guys think about your future? Remember, I said you're going to be taking care of me when I get old. So you are your future. Your future, you're my future, you're her future, you're his future. So I'm going to bring out Mr. Cicone Prince. Come on out, Mr. Prince. Give him a warm welcome. Clap for him. Something about him yet. You guys know what an award is? You know what a trophy is? It's something that you've achieved because you did something, right? And you did it well. He is an award winner. And he travels the world, not just the United States speaking. Did you know that? He's going to talk a little bit about it. But he is a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award winner. That means the President of the United States gave him an award. Yeah, it's pretty big, isn't it?
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. I am so excited to be here. Good morning, Caroline Middle School. You know, the section, in fact, before here, I talked a little bit about my youngest son who told me he was proud of me. And someone gave me some positive feedback on that. But they actually asked me a question. They said, why not ask the students if they've ever been told that they were proud? That somebody said that they were proud of them. Okay, before you answer that, in fact, let me give you a little backstory because I know a lot of you weren't here. I was putting on an event several years ago in my hometown of Mobile, Alabama. And the location I was doing it at was less than a mile from my house. And unfortunately, I forgot something. I left something at home and I had to go and get it. And at the time, my 10-year-old son said, Dad, can I ride with you? And I said, come on, son, let's go. And so while we're in the car, I'm driving, I'm going home, I'm trying to make sure that I'm thinking of everything I need so I don't leave anything there. And while I'm driving, my 10-year-old son looks at me and he says, Dad, I'm proud of you. He said, Dad, I'm proud of you. And when he told me that, I stopped, not driving, but on the inside, because I realized he was watching me. So how many of you have had somebody say that they're proud of you? By a show of hands. Cool. That's great. That's great. Now, my next question to you is this. By a show of hands, how many of you have told somebody that you're proud of them? Okay, how many of you have told somebody you're proud of them that's younger than you? Well, man, y'all on fire. Thank you. You never realize what impact your words can have on people that look up to you. And I know some of you say, well, I'm young. Who's looking up to me? How many has younger brothers or sisters? Okay, well, there's your answer. Your younger brothers or sisters are looking up to you. You may have nieces and nephews and cousins that are looking up to you. When I was in South America, I had a chance to actually speak in Guyana. And I spoke at one of their primary schools. They have basically two schools, the primary and secondary. So they don't have elementary, middle, and high school. Their school system is broken up into two parts. And when I was speaking at the primary school, I asked a question. I said, how many students here consider themselves a leader? 80% of the students stood up. 80% of the students stood up. They considered themselves a leader. And for the ones that stayed seated, I say, you know what? You're a leader too. Because somebody is watching you. If we realize that somebody is watching us like my son was, we'll carry ourselves differently. We'll respect ourselves more because we have an impact. Now, I know the buzzword today is influencer. People influence behavior, they influence purchasing. But a leader has a responsibility. Influencers can go out and do anything, and it's like, well, I just influenced you. But when you are a leader, you are leading somebody. You are showing them how it's done. When I was in high school, I had a friend, and he kept always instigating, pushing me up to do stuff. And then when I would get in trouble, he'll sit back like, well, I didn't do it. You're the one who did it. But I was allowing him to influence me. We have an opportunity to affect the world around us. We have a chance to actually make it a better place. We have a chance to impact those people that we spend the most time with. But if we don't see it like that, we'll waste that opportunity. We'll waste that time that we have to actually make a difference in somebody else's life. You know, I could tell my son, son, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. But what am I showing him? How am I leading him? Our heroes should not just be on the movie screen. They should not just be in the magazines or on Instagram. Our heroes can be the people in our house, our parents. And not only that, but we can be the hero to somebody else. And do you know what the difference is between a hero and a villain? Choice. It's choice. The villain says, the world hurt me, I'm going to hurt it. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not going to let it hurt anybody else. It's a choice. They're both born out of pain. And I know a lot of us in this room, we can identify with having gone through a hard time, a hard situation. The question is, what choice are we making? How are we making it different? What are we doing to change the trajectory of our life? 15 years from now, where will you be? Military, okay. In fact, military, college, law school. So we got military, college, law school. Yeah. A mechanic. There are so many opportunities that you have that you can actually make a decision now that's going to lead you in that direction. When I was raising my children, I would tell them, I said, listen, I'm not raising children, I'm raising adults. And they looked at me like my hair was on fire. Like, what do you mean? We're not adults, we're children. I said, okay. I said, wait, do you wait until you get to school to put your school clothes on? No. They said, no. Right, exactly. They said, no. I said, do you wait till you get to church to put your church clothes on? They said, no. I said, do you wait till you get in the swimming pool to put your bathing suit on? They said, no. I said, that's right, because you always get dressed somewhere else. You always get ready somewhere else. I said, well, you don't wait till you become an adult to learn how to be one. I said, now is the time, and this is the place you get the skills you need to be an adult. And you have an opportunity now, you have a chance, literally the world is your oyster. Whatever you want to do, you can do, but you have to make the right choices. And one of that starts with your friends, the people you hang around with, the people you spend time with. As I became a speaker, I started to spend time with more speakers because I wanted to learn from them. I wanted to understand how they did what they did and actually how I could be better at what I'm doing. I tell people all the time, surround yourself with like-minded people who think differently. I'm going to say that again. Surround yourself with like-minded people who think differently because you can learn something from them. If you have somebody like-minded that's trying to go somewhere, that's trying to do something, that's trying to be something, hang around them. Because if you hang around people that aren't trying to go anywhere, that aren't trying to do anything, they will pull you down. They will actually eat away at your dreams. But when you're around people that are doing something that inspires them, it inspires you. I've seen people that were dancers, and I mean, they left it all on the floor. They were sweating by the time they ended. They were passionate about what it is they did. They inspired me to be passionate about what I do. Hanging out with people that are going somewhere will give you the encouragement you need to actually become a better version of yourself. Our organization is called Becoming the Best You, and it is about growing. It's about a constant state of progression. It's about getting to a better place and a better space. All of us can improve. I told the group earlier, and this is true, I had a stuttering problem when I was a child, probably around your age. I had a problem speaking, and I used to hate I couldn't just go to the speech class in school. I had to go to my social studies class. They had to call the roll, and then someone had to come and get me to take me to my speech therapy class. And of course, when they walked through the door, I said, yes, I'm here to get Cicone Prince for a speech therapy class. And of course, my classmates, they were like, bye, Cicone. I'm like, y'all are so mean, but I didn't allow what they said about me to keep me from going. If you would have told me I was going to be a public speaker, if you would have told me I was going to travel the world talking to people, I would have said, you crazy. But yet, I knew I had so much I had to offer. I knew I had so much I had to give. I knew that there was something I wanted to do. I didn't want to stay hiding in a corner. I had too much in me that I was going to let something like stuttering stop me. I actually co-wrote a book with my coach, and my chapter title was Stop Stuttering at Life. Because so many people, they will not allow themselves to be their best version because of the little hang-ups they have, the hurdles they have, the challenges they have, the stuff that they have to deal with. None of us have a perfect environment that we grew up in. None of us have everything exactly the way we want it to be. But as we go through life, we learn how to navigate the things that we're facing. And as we learn those lessons, guess what? We can teach other people. We can show them that it's possible, it can be done. The fact that I'm up here on the stage talking to you and telling you that I used to stutter as a child, that's an example of what I've overcome. But it's not just about me overcoming. It's about me helping you to understand that you can do the same. You can influence the person that's sitting next to you. You can help them to be a better version of themselves, but it starts with you. Michael Jordan was asked one time, how do you be the best? He said, first you have to demand the best of yourself, and then you can demand the best of others. But if you never take the time to become the best you, how can you tell anybody else? How can I tell my son, you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you want to be. And I'm not giving him an example. When he looks at me, he sees somebody that's going after his goals and his dreams. He sees somebody that's impacting the world. He sees somebody that's pouring into other people. And he does the exact same thing. In between the sessions, I checked my phone. He texted me this morning and said, hey, Dad, how are you doing? How's it going? This is the same. He's 16 now. He was 10 at the time. I'm still giving him that example. I'm still showing him. The question to you is this: who are you going to impact? A lot of y'all raised your hands when I asked about if you had a younger sister or brother. They are looking up to you. You making it gives them the chance and the hope that they can do the same. So it's not just about you. It's not just about you achieving your goals and your dreams on your own. If you climbed Mount Everest and got to the top by yourself, who do you celebrate with? Nobody. The question that I really want you to think about is, how can I change my life to help change the world? Like Miss Brenda told us, so many of us are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. There are nurses in here, doctors in here, engineers in here, mechanics in here, military people, lawyers in here. You have so much opportunities at your fingertips. But if you don't see it as that, you won't put in the work. You won't put in the effort. If you don't see the impact you have and the difference that you can make, you'll just let it go by. Once I realized that I had an opportunity to change somebody's life, I took it. Back in 2012, I was at a conference in Dallas, Texas, and I got a call to be a part of a quick pitch business Olympics. And I didn't know what that was. Honestly, I didn't. I had to grab the brochure and I had to look and see what it was. And it says I had 3 minutes to pitch my business in front of a select panel of judges and the listening audience. At the time, my company was called 3D Solution Providers. We did 3D animation and illustration. And while I was up there doing that contest and while I was on stage pitching my business, I had an epiphany. And my epiphany was that my words could be used for selling more than a product or service, but I could sell people on themselves. I could help uplift and change people's lives. And when I realized that, like my first book I wrote, Are You Climbing the Wrong Mountain? I realized I was on the wrong mountain. There were things that I was doing that I realized I'm supposed to be over there. And there are 3 things I tell people you can learn about being on the wrong mountain. The first thing you can learn is this is not it. This is not where I'm supposed to be. But the second thing is, even being on the wrong mountain, you can see the right one. What it is you're supposed to be doing. But the third thing is you've learned some skills even climbing the wrong mountain. Some of the things that you said you were going to do, you may change those as you go through life. But you at least have to have a desire to get to a better place. You have to have a desire to elevate yourself. You have to have a desire to get where you can be a difference maker in your community. Never let somebody tell you that you don't have any influence. You don't have any impact. And if nobody tells you that you're proud of yourself, you need to be able to say that to you. But in order for you to do that, you have to do something that you're proud of. I remember growing up, I used to help my mom. I used to help her with things around the house. I would do what I could to help make sure that she had an easier life. I was raised by a single mother. And being raised by a single parent is different from being raised by a parent or a 2-parent household. Because you actually find yourself riding shotgun. You see a lot of stuff that you wouldn't see if you were sitting in the back seat. If you had a mother and a father in the house, you would find yourself not really knowing a lot about the struggles and the strain of what's going on. But if you were raised by a single parent like I was, you would understand the stress of bills and not having enough money and being able to actually make sacrifices. So when I helped my mother, it was important to me because I realized I had a chance to make her life easier. Each of you in this room, you have an opportunity to make somebody's life better. Don't make it worse. Make it better. Because when you make it worse, it's like having a rock in your shoe. Anybody ever had a rock in a shoe by show of hands? Isn't it irritating? Doesn't it hurt? Yes. What's one of the first things you do when you have a rock in your shoe? Exactly, you get rid of it. You take it out. You can't even run with a rock in your shoe. You can't run to get ice cream. You can't run away from a bear. It hinders your ability to move. So the first thing you do is you take it out. Don't be the irritant in somebody's life. You may have people in your life that are like that rock. They're just irritating you. They are dragging you down. They are putting you in a place and in a space to where you can't go as far as you would without them. And I know sometimes you're like, I don't want to leave people. I don't want to lose my friends. And I can understand that. Friends are hard to come by. But the question is, what type of friend are you? I remember I had a business partner and I was, in fact, we were going through some challenges. And this is the partner that I had with the 3D Solution Providers. And it got to the point to where we needed, in fact, to have a talk because he had stopped being engaged in the business. I met him at the library, and I actually asked him a question. I said, if you were a business partner, would you want a partner like you? And I noticed the words. If you were a business partner, would you want a partner like you? And he sat there for 30 seconds and went. And he said no. He said that because he knew he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. But before I could ask him that question, before I could ask him if he was a business partner, wouldn't he want a partner like him? Guess what I had to do? I had to ask that of myself. I had to ask that of myself. If I was a business partner, would I want a partner like me? And my answer was yes, because I was engaged. I was trying to go somewhere. I was trying to get the business to a better place. He had stopped doing stuff. But that question that I asked him, it became a one-size-fits-all question for me. Think about this. If you were a teacher, would you want to teach students like you? Okay, some of y'all say yes. But now, I can ask the teachers this question. If they were students, would they want to have a teacher like them? It makes us look at ourselves. I've asked this of my wife. If you were a man, would you want to be married to a woman like you? But before I could ask her that question, guess what I had to do? I had to ask it of myself. If I was a woman, would I want to be married to a man like me? It all starts with us. What type of person are we going to be? What type of friend are we going to be? What type of brother or sister we're going to be? What type of student we're going to be? It starts with us. We have a choice to make life better or worse for somebody else. Don't be the villain. Don't be the villain in your own story. Be the hero. You have a choice, and you have a chance to make a difference. Don't allow somebody to take that away from you. And actually, they can't take it away. You give it away. Don't give your ability to choose away. You have a chance and a choice to make a difference in this world. And with that being said, I want to bring Brenda back up, because I know that we have some call and responses that are going to actually make a difference in your life, because you are eagles. And Brenda's going to talk about being brave. So I'm going to let her break that down. Go ahead.
Are you guys brave?
Yes!
Are you brave?
You know, brave with your school means building respectful and vigilant eagles. So are you respectful? And do you respect yourself? And are you an eagle? You know, the eagle soars very high. And the crows and other animals try to hitch a ride on it because they want to be like them. And instead of causing turmoil and strife, the eagle just lets them ride. He just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing, and the crows can't survive at that altitude, so they fall off. And the eagle is still soaring. Are you the eagle or the crow? Eagle! What do you want to be? Let me hear you say, I am an eagle! I am a brave eagle! I respect myself. Do you respect your friends? Yeah. How about your teachers? Yeah. How about your parents? Yeah. It shows in your actions. Did you know that? Your actions show what you don't want people to see. Your actions are still going to show. And it shows who you are. We were just talking right before this. We've probably got a little bit of time. We were saying that those who are hiding and pretending to be somebody else, that's where the drama gets created. But when you are that eagle and you're soaring regardless of those crows, you got nothing to hide, so you don't have to hide. Make sense?
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Cicone, as a parent, tell me what your favorite moment is when your children were this age?
My favorite moment when my children were this age is when they realized, when they really understood how much I care for them. You know, sometimes we tend to overlook the sacrifices that people get, and sometimes we don't even see them. But if we pay close attention enough, we will see the things that our parents didn't do for themselves so they could do for us. And we'll just take a lot of stuff for granted. But there are so many sacrifices, so many places that your parents wanted to go and didn't, so many things they wanted to buy and didn't, but they did it for you. And having my children to understand that my dad and my mom loved me. They made sacrifices. And sometimes we don't realize it. But I had a chance because, again, I was riding shotgun to my mom. I saw the sacrifice. I saw the stuff she did. I didn't take her for granted. And that was the most important part to me.
So I want you to give it up for that. I want you to think about your moments right now. I want you to think about your moments right now where your parents are going to remember you, just like he has his memory of his. It's a big deal. Do you remember your Christmases and your birthdays? Do you remember your summers? You can have that daily. And you can have great memories by the choices you make today. He just said, the only thing between, it's this difference between a hero and a villain, is what?
Choice.
Choice.
And I want to leave you with this. Go home, tell your parents, your grandparents, who's ever responsible for you, tell them thank you. Tell them thank you. And they may be like, for what? For everything that you've done to help me to be a better person. The advice they gave, the discipline, the sacrifices, the dropping off, the picking up, to make sure you're okay. Tell them thank you. Let them know that you see them, that you recognize them. And I guarantee you, what gets praised, get practiced. If you tell them that, they're going to want to do more. They're going to want to do more for you. Remember what they've done and tell them thank you.
I am an eagle.
I'm an eagle.
I'm an eagle.
I'm an eagle.
I am brave.
I am brave.
Myself.
I respect myself.
You guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Carolina Middle School.